Hello everyone, and in this video we go through creating a local area network using the Cisco packet tracer. Now Cisco packet tracer is a simulation tool used for educational purposes and also for training purposes. You can use it to run simulations of network designs and also configure your routers and switches virtually. Now to download the Cisco packet tracer, you can head on to Cisco Resource Hub. The link will be in the description below, also in the comment section. Go there and you download the Cisco packet tracer. And after downloading it, click on it. The icon should be like this. Click on it and set up the application. And after setting up the application, open the application. Sometimes the application will open on its own after the setup. So whenever you open the application will be like this. It will open a new window for you. So this here is called a network, or let me say a new network file. So I'm not going to be explaining every single thing here one by one. Since we are creating the LANs, I'll be explaining them to you as we go on. And as we go on, I'll be explaining to you every other thing you need to know about the interfaces. I want to be explaining it one by one. I don't want this video to be long. But if you need a separate video where I can explain the interfaces of Cisco Packet Tracer for you, that can be done later on in the video. So before you watch this video, or let me say before you go to this video, I'm pretty sure you should know what an IP address means and also what a MAC address means. Because if you don't know that, this is going to be a very confusing video for you. So I made a video on IP addresses before. Go back to my video, go to my channel, watch that video, and come back here. You understand this video much more better on than the first time. So first things first, this logical here shows you more like a logical view of your interfaces. Let me say you come, let's say you brought out a router. This here will just show you what the router is like. It won't show you a physical, or let me say a graphical representation of that router. But let's say you go on to physical. Now when you go to physical, click on home city, corporate office, main wiring closet. Here you can zoom it from here. Here is zoom, here is reset, and here is zoom out. So when you zoom here, you see that it shows you the physical representation of the router, where you can inspect the front and also inspect the rear for connections and other devices. So you can delete the device. Let's go back to logical. We are going to be using logical mainly here and not physical. Although we can use physical, but I'm going to be using logical right now. So this is your logical. Since I've explained logical and physical, I'll come back here and explain this. So root is your network. That's what I'll explain it like your network. And a cluster is when you want to maybe make a cloud consisting of FTP servers, ISPs, and a lot of stuff. Let's say, for example, you want to add a router, two routers, and maybe a switch. Here, you come and select components for your cluster and select this, or you select components for the cluster, you select this, and this. Make sure you hold the control and make the cluster. And you can see here, after when you click on the cluster, it will show you the routers that are, it will show you the devices that are inside the cluster. That's what typically what this cluster means. So you can actually delete your cluster. And when you come here, this is to set a background image, which we basically don't need right now. So this is it for here. So since I've already used delete, I'm going to explain what delete means. Here is to delete devices. When you press it, you delete the devices, and after deleting it, either you press escape button or you come back here and click it to select back. So another thing you need to know here is this. This is a PDU. This is a simple PDU. This is a complex PDU. What is a PDU? Now a PDU is more like a packet. What is a packet? Data. That's the simplest form of a packet. So it's data, let's say you pinging from this to this, and when you ping, that ping comes in form of a packet. And how do you see this packet? Well, let me say, how do you see this PDU? That's where this comes in place. real time, and stimulation. Now, when you're in real time, it doesn't show you the PDUs. It doesn't show you what is actually going through. It just goes in without you knowing. It doesn't show you the detailed view of what's actually happening. But in simulation, it will stimulate it and show you how packets actually travel from this to this, from that to that. We are going to show you, I'm going to show you this in this LAN network. So you don't need to worry. Just keep up with this video and I'll show you that. And also show you, explain to you all these things here before that. So another thing you need to know is the zooming, which I've already told you, and the reset and other things. So that's it for this place. Let's head on to the down layer. So in this down layer here, come here to network devices. So in network devices, you probably know what a network device is, but they will be showing it to you right here. So to come here, you see routers and the lots and lots of routers. So since you have come to routers, I'll select the router I'll use for my network. So for my home network, I'm probably choosing this router. This router is for my home network. So mind you, this is not the only router you can choose. If you don't actually like this router, there are other wireless type of routers. This is not a wireless router. So if you want a wireless router, you can actually get a wireless router. So these are switches. I also need a switch because I'm not connecting only one thing. So let's say I bring out this switch. This is for my LAN network. Remember I told you I'm building a LAN network, and after building that, I'll also explain other interfaces in packet tracer. So this thing is hubs. I don't think I need any hub right now. Here is for the wireless devices. So for the wireless devices, you can actually bring out a home router here, and can actually bring out a home router here and replace it with your first router I brought out. But I don't want to use a home router. I want to show you how to use the Ethernet connection first. Maybe in the second video I'll do we use a home router, but for now we are using an Ethernet connection. So I'm going to delete the home router. Okay, this is a mistake. Here is the redo button and the undo button. I'm also showing you other things in case you don't know. So here I'll redo it. This is what I want to delete. I'll delete it. So remember, either you press escape or you come here and press it. So this for security, and this one wide area network emulation whereby you need a cloud or a DSL cable, DSL modem. Cable is for your TV in case you want to connect your TV to internet. This is what it uses. This one is for telephones. DSL stands for digital subscriber lines and it's mostly used for telephones. So that's it. Now you come to end devices, and in end devices you come here, see your PCs. I'm going to bring out a PC. I'm going to bring out a laptop. Mind you, this laptop here uses Ethernet. I'm going to show you the laptop that uses wireless connectivity. I'm going to bring out at least two laptops and one two PCs and one laptop. Then I'll also bring out something like a printer. I'll take this as I use it at home. So I'm going to bring out a printer. So where is my printer? So this is the printer. And you can also bring out a TV. I think that will also work. But since you are bringing out a TV, you are going to bring out a cable modem. But this is not a long, I don't want it to be long. I'm just connecting two to three devices and show you a lot of things there. So I'm going to cancel this TV and maybe in the next video, I'll add the TV in it. So this is probably all you need to know here. This sniffer, generic wireless, generic wired, smartphones and other things. So you come back here, home. These are things you use at home where you can actually add them. This is a webcam. You can actually add the webcam here, and it's an IoT. You can connect it. I'm not doing that right now, so later on, that's it for this video. For this video, I'm only using the end devices. I'm not going to be using the home or any other thing that is here. So I'm going to delete this. This for smart city. These are everything smart city and industrial. Remember, if you are touching it, you'll be seeing it. These are fire monitor, carbon dioxide detector, carbon monoxide detector. You don't actually need these ones right now. We are in a training session, so these things are more. little complex things that you should learn later. In this video, we are just learning the simple ones. So this is the power grid, which still we don't need right now. So we come here, components. This still we don't need it in this video right now. So whenever you see the sensors, the boards, and the actuators, so we don't need this one right now. Then connections. This is another thing we need. So this connection here is a fast connection, whereby if we connect it and connect it, it will connect immediately without showing you the port that is needed for the connection. So this is for people that don't actually know which port to connect to which port. But since we are in a training session, you have to know the ports to connect to the port. So here is the console port. Now this console port is used to connect routers to computers so that you can actually configure the router in the computer. This is for a real life scenario, but in this tutorial you can actually configure a router by just clicking the router and configuring it. But when you're in a real life scenario, that's where the console comes in, so that you can connect your console from here RS232 to your console ports in your router, or also in your switch to connect your switches. So the next thing here is the copper straight through cables for connecting Ethernet to Ethernet. Then this one is the fiber optic for connecting your, also for Ethernet, but for fast moving Ethernet. You see that in a different type of router. So this is the phone, and this is for coaxial. This is for connecting your TV to your cable modem. Then this is your USB. You can also use your USB for your laptop to your switch or to your router and to configure that router. So that's this for connections. Then you come to miscellaneous. There you now see the wireless laptop, the wireless PC, and a lot of other wireless routers. This is a wireless router, I think. Okay, this is just another type of router. I don't think it has a wireless feature, but that's also what I'm saying here. So okay, this is just another version of that router, and these are other miscellaneous that you have to have. So come here to multi-user connection. This place we are not going to be using this one right now. So we're going to delete the unnecessary ones, and that's it. So with these four things here or five things here, we're going to configure a LAN. So to configure a LAN, you have to learn how to configure a router and also learn how to configure a switch. So join me as we configure your switch. So to configure your switch, like I said, to configure a switch, or let's start with router, because router is the first thing to connect. In connecting your router, you can actually click the router here and go to CLI and actually configure it from here. You can actually press no, don't press S, press no in this, and from there you configure your router. But you're not going to be using this method, you're going to be using the console method. So let you actually know in the real world scenario this is what it's for. So here you configure your console, put it in your console. So here we configure our router. So select the PC and go to desktop, and from desktop you go to terminal and just click OK. And this is it for your router. You have already entered the router interface. So in your router interface, this is a whole new interface and a whole new thing to do. To configure a router, you should know what the router and what the interface is all about. Right now, it's telling you that you are in the user executive mode. There are two types of modes in the router and also in the switch. There are the user executive mode and the privileged executive mode. Now, the user executive mode just deals with little commands. You don't use all the commands there. Like not all the command works there. But in the privileged executive mode, that's where you can execute all the commands you actually need, like setting the host name, setting the password and stuff. So to enter the privileged executive mode, all you have to press is enable and it will enter the privileged executive mode. Now, what's the difference? Now, as you can see, the user executive mode used the greater sign symbol, while this privileged used the hashtag. So that's the difference to know that you're in the privileged and in the user. So let's say you want to go back, all you have to do is disable, or when you press enable, you just press exit and it will remove. So when you press enter here, it will go back to your user executive mode. So what can we actually do in the privileged executive mode? So let's enter the privileged executive mode. The first thing you have to do whenever you open your router, or let me say when you're configuring your router, is to first change the host name. And the host name is what you use to identify your router in the network. So let's say, so first thing first, go to the configuration interface. So you press config, it will tell you configuring from terminal, memory, or network. So you choose the terminal, that's the first thing there. So you just press enter and it will shoot. So you're already in the configuration. So the first thing to do is to what? Change the host name. So you just write host name and what will be our host name. I'll change it to Shubi, or let me change it to R1, meaning the router one, and this is R1, and it has changed. So the next thing again to do is to change the password, or to add a password, because it's not with password. So you have to add the password. So to add the password, the first thing first is, since you're already in configuration, to add it, what you have to press is enable secrets. Then you add your password. The password here I will add is should be. I've already added the password. Now this password you added is for entering the privileged executive mode. Now what if you also want password in order to enter the user executive mode? Now go on to line console 0. When you enter there, add password and enter your password. So my password will be Shubi, and I've entered it. So to go back to config, just press exit and you go back to config. So to go back to config again, just press, to go back to your privileged executive mode, just press exit and we are back to privileged executive mode. Now to see what we what we did actually worked, just press show running conf. So when you press show running, it will bring you all the services that are running in your router. So as you can see here, it opens here. As you can see, your interfaces are down. You still have to open them and add IP addresses, which I'll do later on in this video. Just don't remove this video. What I want you to go down and look is your password. As you can see, your password is open. And you don't want this to happen, right? So you have to close up this password in case if anyone ever comes to your router, you won't come and look at your password as should be here. So you want to encrypt it. So to encrypt this password, you first go back to your config. Remember, to change any setting, the first thing you do is to go to the config interface. So go to config, then type in service password encryption. Sorry, I didn't spell my service well. And with that, you have encrypted your password. In order to check that, go exit and press show running again. And when you scroll down, just be pressing enter, and when you go down, you see that they have encrypted that password you placed. You see that they have encrypted that password you entered. So that's it for securing the router, the password, and the hostname. So the next thing you have to do now is to add IP addresses and also set up default gateway. Now this is actually very simple. First things first, go to config. So when you enter the config, now I want you to go up here and look at the interfaces you have. Now you see the interface 0. You see the fast Ethernet 00, and you see the interface fast Ethernet 01. Now come to your router. Now for this interface, you can actually press stop here so that it won't be removed whenever you are working in the background. So just move it. So come here, mistake, cancel this, I don't need this. So come here, let's see, come to connections, come to copper straight through, paste on it. Now you ask yourself, which one do you want to connect to your switch? Let's say you want to connect this to your switch. So will you use the Ethernet 00 or the Ethernet 01? You have to know that. So let's say I used the Ethernet 01. So connect it to Ethernet 01, come to your switch here and connect to anything here. So I'm going to connect to Giga Ethernet to my switch. So mind you, it's not up yet. It's not up yet. So we are still configuring in the terminal, remember. So go back. This is to show that something has actually entered. This thing here is to show that something has actually entered, or let me say something has been inputted into the router. So since I choose this interface, let me copy it, copy, and remember you're in the config interface. So enter the interface of fast Ethernet 00. Now you are inside the Ethernet. Now you are inside the interface of fast Ethernet 01. Now you have to set up your IP address. So IP address. Now for this address, you're going to be using 192.168.1.1. Now this is the default gateway and also the IP address of the router. Now you set up your subnet mask. If you don't know anything about subnet mask, tell me in the comment section and I'll tell you about the subnet mask. But right now, subnet mask is used to separate networks. So let's say I want to connect another network to this router. I can make this subnet mask. I can use the subnet mask to break down this IP address here and divide it into different networks. So add in your subnet mask here and press enter. After that, you have already set up the IP address. Now, to turn on this interface, you have to enter no shutdown. And with this, the interface has been turned on. As you can see, the interface has been turned on. So press exit, and the next thing you have to do is to save this route. Oh, these packets here are showing because I'm in simulation mode. Just put it back to real time and it will stop. Now, to make sure this connects immediately, come here and press fast forward and it will connect immediately. This is a fast forward button so that it connects immediately. So this is it for your router. You have connected your router to your switch and also you have set up the IP address and the default gateway of that router. So the next thing you have to do now is to save it. Now to save, go to exit. Make sure you are in the privileged executive mode and you write this copy running config startup config, and with that you have saved it to the startup configuration. Now there are a lot of other things you can do with your router, like setting up SSH and also adding a security banner. And we're going to add a security banner right now. So go back to config. Now banner MOTD, then delimiter, then you start writing what you want to write. So let's say I want to write the banner of authorized access only, access only, and I will close it. And I've set up the banner. Now exit it. Now to save it, remember, copy. I don't need to type it again. I just have to copy and paste it, and I will save it. Now press exit, and you see it, authorized access only. This is the banner I'm talking about, and to end. And when you press enable, it will ask you for a password, and this is it. So this is it about your router. You have configured your router. So when you press show IP interface brief, It will tell you the interfaces up and down. So as you can see, the fast 001, the fast Ethernet 001 has an IP address, is yes, method is manual, it's not using DHCP, and also up. So if you want to go on and access this router, configure it, and also touch that many other places I didn't touch, you can just press the question mark here and it will bring out all the commands for you. The commands you see me make use of here are mostly exit, disable, copy, and where is my shoe and shoot. So that is it for the router, and I'm going to start configuring the switch.
So this is the end of the first part of this video. The second part will be uploaded immediately after the first one. So after watching it, come back tomorrow and watch the second part. Or if you are coming here late, click on the link in my description and watch the second one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Shubi Tech, and let's get back to work.